So, the square root is simplified when we take as much out of the square root as we can, and we leave the smallest possible value inside. How do you do that? You need to look for things in this column right here. Those perfect squares, you need to look for perfect squares that will be a factor, that will divide into 50 evenly. So what you start by doing, does 4 go into 50 evenly? No. Does 9 go into 50 evenly? No. Does 16? No. Does 25? Yes. Ding, 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 ding. So what you want to do is break down 50 into its factors of 25 times 2. Now, one of those gray box rules with the letters that don't make any sense, they say this underneath is the same as breaking it down into separate square roots. And now, from yesterday, what's the square root of 25? That's 5. And square root of 2, you can't really do anything to. It doesn't have any factors. They're all too big. So this would be the simplified version of the square root of 50. Does that make sense? You want to look for factors that are perfect squares, that have whole numbers square roots. Someone last hour said, well, couldn't I break this down, square root of 50 into, it's also 5 times 10, isn't it? Well, you could break it down into 5 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50. However, does the square root of 5 come out even? Is it a whole number? No. So that doesn't help us. Does the square root of 10 come out to be a whole number? No, that one's not a whole number either. So although 5 times 10 is 50, we wouldn't want to use that because none of them are perfect squares. None of them are whole number square roots. So that's why we use 25 times 2 instead. Does that make sense? So what about the next one? 8, it's a pretty small number. Look on your list over here. What goes into 8? 4, right. 8 is 4 times 2. What's this? Well, the rule says you can break it down. And now, what's the square root of 4? It's just 2. And square root of 2, you can't simplify at all. So this one, it's 2 square roots of 2. Make sense? Anybody with questions so far? Now, this one I've got a 2 out front, but that doesn't matter. This just means 2 times square root of 98. We got to find something that goes into 98. So get your calculator out. Do 98 divided by 4. Does it come out even? No. No. Do 98 divided by 9. Does it come out even? No. No. Do 98 divided by 16. Does it come out even? No. No. Do 98 divided by 25. No. No. 98 divided by 36. You don't have a calculator.
Yeah.
No. No. 98 divided by 49. Yes. 98 divided by 49 is 2. 49 times 2 is 98. So you can separate that. Square root of 49, square root of 2. What is square root of 49? 7. And then you still have that square root of 2 left. Outside here, what is 2 times 7? 14 times square root of 2. Hey, one thing I forgot to say that's kind of cool, just for the heck of it, on your calculator, do square root of 50. Do it right now. Oh, I moved it over.
7.
On your calculator, do square.
7.0716.
Wait. Square root of 50 is.
7.0710678.
Oh, stop. 7.01.
7.07.
7.
1.
1.
6.
6. Good enough. Now, on your calculator, do square root of 2. Leave all those numbers and multiply it by 5.
7.07106.
You get the same thing. They're equivalent.
9.
But we simplified it. We got as much out of the square root as we could, and we left the smallest value possible inside the root. So I have one more for you. Here's your test. Does anybody have any questions first?
How come you're such a great teacher, Mom?
Oh, be quiet. Some of these people wouldn't say so.
I would say so.
Oh, you're such a good boy, Sean. So now I have 864. Probably going to take a little more work than just 8. But you have to go down the list, Addie.
It's 12.
Does 4 go in?
No.
Yes, it does.
Oh, well, thank you.
Does 4 go into 864?
Yeah.
It's 4 times 2, 1, 6. It's square root of 4, square root of 216. But I'm not that smart. I can't go that high up on the list. What's the square root of 4? 2. So I have 2 times the root of 216. Is the root of 216 simplified? That seems awfully large. What goes into 216? Does 4? I think it does. It's 4 times, goes in there. How about 54? Uh-oh. I have 2 root 4 root 54. What is the root of 4? So what do I have outside here? 4 roots of 54. Is 54 simplified? Well, so, say that again? Well, what goes into it in the list over there? 4, 9, 16, 25, 9? He says 9. Does 9 go into 54?
Yes.
9 times 6. 9, 6. What's the square root of 9? And square root of 6, you can't simplify that. What do I get here? 12 roots of 6. Now, at the very beginning, what did you say?
12.
She said, use 12. Boy, that's annoying. What are you laughing at? It was Bucko.
Hey Mom, guess what? Mr. Dishko said we should set Kenzie up with Mr. Kelly.
Okay. So, at the very beginning, you said, what did you say? Use 144 right off the bat. Could you? Yes. You could use 144 right off the bat. This is 144 times 6, but that's another way to do it. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. There are probably a bunch of ways to get from here, simplifying, to this answer. Which one of them is right? They all are. As long as you show your work, I don't care what factors you use. It doesn't matter to me as long as you show your work. Also, well, first questions. Look up here. I am well aware of the fact that there are calculators that give you the answer in simplified root form. All you have to do is type it in, and it gives you the answer over there. If I get a list of just answers, you get a 0. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to learn how to break this down. You're going to need to know how to break it down for the stuff that's coming up. So if you just type it into your calculator, you're going to miss all this information. So don't just type it into your calculator. You'll get a 0 and you won't know how to do it for the next lesson. So anything else? Do you have any questions? Are there any questions? Does anyone have a question? Right here. Right here. 522, 523, 1 to 58 all. JK. LOL. Why are you giving me a dirty look, Bickle? Yes.